Hello and good afternoon. My name is Martin Cowart, and welcome to Noonday Prayer or Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we have been gathering together in this virtual sanctuary almost since the beginning of the pandemic to love and support each other through these extraordinarily challenging times. And I've got to say, it is truly these are some of the most challenging times I think I've ever experienced. And I found myself today just in sort of a place of, I don't know, the best word is almost like despair. So much, almost like sadness today, just so much sadness and pain, really, emotional pain. And as I was preparing for this, I was really struggling to try to find um, the power and the strength to come on and be so open, be so vulnerable with you, to be honest, to share. And I'm that way every day, but today I'm just feeling especially vulnerable for some reason, almost to the point of being sort of sick in a way, nauseated. And actually, I had a beautiful morning on the beach. I'm in Puerto Rico, and I had this wonderful morning on the beach of yoga, and I just found myself sort of feeling um, like I couldn't get my thoughts together. I can't, I'm sort of like just really out of sync with myself. And it's an odd way to be, it's like I have to like really surrender to something that's bigger than me. And so I'm grateful that you're here. And if you are up here, please just say hello in the chat so that I know you're here, and say, I'm always so grateful for people to join me. Oh, there's my dear friend, Michael Manley. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm particularly grateful for people showing up. I'm just feeling, here I am in paradise. I'm in Puerto Rico. It's absolutely gorgeous here. But I'm certainly feeling something going on that's bigger than me. I don't know about you, but I'm just feeling something that's pulling at me, that's bigger than me, that I'm going through, and I don't know quite how to describe it. But I don't think this is a time we want to be this is a time when we want to be together. And so thank you. Hello, Audrey. Nice to see you here. And nice to see you. Somebody else just showed up here. There's my dear friend Numer, who's been on the show. Thank you for showing up today. I'm just feeling particularly vulnerable today. I don't know about you guys, but Mondays are pretty tough days for me anyway. But I got this morning feeling pretty good. I met with my virtual assistant who's in Africa, and we had a wonderful conversation, and we worked on some stuff together this morning. I felt pretty good, and then I went down to the beach and did my yoga, and then I just found myself feeling this sort of sense of just vulnerability. I don't know how to best to describe it, and it took a lot of power, a lot of strength in me today to put together something to write about and to be with you, because I feel like I have to be, for this to work, I have to be vulnerable and be open myself to how I'm feeling. So I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate the love and support from you, because I think we need that right now to get us through these very challenging times. And I found some comfort. I love those. Yes, I love hugs. I'll take a hug. I'll take a virtual hug anytime from you, you big, beautiful man. I love it. I love following you around on your Facebook pages. You're a beautiful person. And that's what I'm talking about. We need to, and I think a lot of us need to know we have the love and support of others, because we're going through some pretty strange times in our cosmos as we move into what's called the Age of Aquarius, or the Age of the Divine Mother. And it's a birthing. And as many of, I don't know that I'm ever going to have a child, but I have certainly witnessed it on television. I've never seen an actual baby, but my mother was a labor and delivery room nurse at the hospital. She delivered babies at night. So I learned and I heard about the birth of babies since I was a little boy. And I know that it's something that's kind of painful. And I think that's what we're going through right now. We're going through the birth of a new age. And it is difficult. It is difficult. And I was comforted this morning by what I'm going to share with you in a minute. And those are the words of Richard Rohr. I just find him to be so spot on. And I'm just so grateful for his wisdom and his intuition to guide us through these really, really transformational times in the history of humanity. I think we are certainly shifting, and it's I can only imagine the pain of having a child. I can't have one. I've never had a child. I don't think that's not part of my plan, but from what I've experienced in watching it, it looks like it'd be pretty painful. But that's part of birthing ourselves into a new world. And this is, while it's not physically, maybe it is a little physically painful. I don't know. I'm certainly not about to. But before we get started, I want to read something and for you in a minute. I want to just say a word. I heard the news this morning that one of my first love, my first boyfriend, Robert Beard, and who I fell in love when I was 25 with. His mother died, and Selma Beard, and I want to say just a shout out for her. I think she was 100. She was close. She wasn't 100. She was close to it, but she was one of the most wonderful people I've ever known, and I'm just feeling the sadness of her loss today and her death, and I just want to say a word out for Bobby and his family, how much I love them and I appreciate them, and how sad I am to hear the news of his mom. But I think she was 100 something years old. She's a fiercely loving and brilliant woman, and so I'm feeling a bit of the sadness of her loss today. And before we get started, I just want to say something about Selma Whitebeard. She was a lovely, lovely woman, and a friend, the mother of my first boyfriend. And I'll always be grateful for her. And so this is for your mama, Selma. So I want to read a little bit today from Richard Rohr, Rohr's Daily Meditation. And it really, there's a cousin of mine, I believe, here. Let's see, hugs. I'll take your hugs any day. And this is my cousin, Catherine Bloomer Richardson. Hello there, Catherine. Nice to have you with us today. It's wonderful that you're here. I don't think you've ever been here before, so I'm really grateful that you've joined us today. And yes, our condolences. Yeah, all of our condolences to the Beard family and the loss of the death of their mother. She was truly a remarkable woman and full of love and grace, and I'm just so grateful to have known her. So let me read a little bit today from Richard Rohr's Daily Meditation. I'm just so grateful for what he had to say. And I was feeling just, I don't know if I had the strength to get on here today, to tell you the truth. I was like, can I call in sick? Because that's kind of how I felt. But I read this and I got some inner strength, some inner motivation, and I'm here, and something about being connected with you, even though virtually I'm in Puerto Rico right now. It's San Juan. There's something about being with you in this space. It gives me a lot of joy and comfort and love, and that's why I'm here. Because this is why we do this. We don't have to go through this time alone, really. And I want to talk about Richard Rohr. I'll post this later, but The Politics of Prayer was his writing today, and I want to read that to us. And I actually quoted something from him exact word for word in our talk today. The Politics of Prayer. Yeah, your words are bomb. I love Richard. I do too. Aren't they the best? It's just like I'm such a follower of his, so I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna read what he had to say today. I found them so comforting today, Catherine. Catherine's my cousin, by the way. If you don't know, she's my cousin. So I'm glad to have you here, cousin. It's funny. Makes me feel better just to have you here join me. Thank you for that. The politics of prayer. I've often said that we founded the Center of Action and Contemplation to be a place of integration between action and contemplation. I envision a place where we could teach activists in social movements to pray and encourage people who pray to live lives of solidarity and justice. As we explained in our center's Radical Grace publication in 1999, we believe that action and contemplation, once thought of as mutually exclusive, must be brought together or neither one would make sense. We wanted to be radical in both senses of the word, simultaneously rooted in tradition and boldly experimental. We believed that the power to be truly radical comes from trusting entirely in God's grace, and that such trust is the most radical action possible. Wow. To pray is to practice that posture of radical trust in God's grace, and to practice in perhaps the most radical movement of all, which is the movement of God's love. Contemplative prayer allows us to build our own house. To pray is to discover that someone else is within our house and to recognize that is not our house at all. To keep praying is to have no house to protect because there is only one house. And that one house is everybody's home. In other words, those who pray from the heart actually live in a very different world. I like to say it is a Christ-soaked world, a world where matter is inspirited and spirit is embodied. Everything sacred and the word real takes on a new meaning. The world is wary of such house builders, for our loyalties will lie in very different directions. We will be very different kinds of citizens, and the state will not so easily depend on our salute. That is the politics of prayer. And that is probably why true spiritual people are always a threat to politicians of any sort. They want our allegiance, and we can no longer give it. Our house is too big. If religion and religious people are to have any moral credibility in the face of the massive death dealing and denial of this era, we need to move with great haste toward lives of political holiness. This is my theology and my politics. It appears that God loves life. The creating never stops. We will love and create and maintain life. It appears that God is love and enduring, patient, kind. We will seek and trust in all its humanizing and therefore divinizing forms. We will seek and trust in all its humanizing and therefore its divine forms. I can't say divinizing forms. I guess that is the right word, divinizing forms. It appears that God loves the variety of multiple features, faces, and forms. We will not be afraid of the other, the not me, and the stranger at the gate. It appears that God loves is beauty. Look at this world. Those who pray already know this. Their passion will be for beauty. Wow, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. They had one more little prayer here, and I just want to read this last little prayer. It's a prayer for our community. And I think if there's any time to pray for our community, it is right now. Because our world community is going through a huge transformation. Make no doubt about it. We are moving into the age from the me to the we. And that's something we can all be excited about. Oh, great love, thank you for living and loving in us and through us. May all that we do flow from our deep connection with you and all beings. Help us become a community that vulnerably shares each other's burdens and the weight of glory. Listen to our heart's longings for the healing of our world. Know you are hearing us better than we are speaking. We offer these prayers in all the holy names of God. Amen. Wow. I'm grateful for Richard Rohr and his teachings, and I will post that later on Facebook if you would like to read it yourself. So, anybody have anything they want to talk about before we go into our meditation? I'm always delighted to have people's comments, their fears, their concerns, their worries, anything you want us to pray about today, uh, to include you. Any joys you want to celebrate, any sadness you want us to hold. All is welcome here today as we move out of this very, 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 and just know that I am in Puerto Rico and sometimes I do lose connection. And if I do, please sit tight. I will be back, I hope. Anybody want to say something before we meditate? If not, we will meditate or do what we call centering prayer. Centering prayer is a form of prayer that was made. Oh, wow. Wow. I just received my first COVID praying for all. Thanks, Martin Coward. I'm so glad. I am so, so glad you have gotten that vaccine. I will take it as soon as it's available for me. Um, are you in the healthcare business? Is that what was that why you were one of the first in line because you're in that business? I don't remember. Yeah, I love Richard Rohr's wisdom. Isn't it just it's just like he is truly, truly, truly. I went to his Universal Christ conference a few years ago, about 5,000 people. What and what an event that was. That was such an event. Oh, you're an oncology nurse. Wow, that makes me feel that. That's such a What a wonderful profession for you to be in, to heal people who are really sick. Wow. I'm so glad you got the vaccine, and you part of the community of health workers who are on the front lines um, to get us through this difficult and challenging time. So thank you for all that you're doing, Catherine. And so glad you joined us here today. So glad you're here. So without anything else, unless somebody has something else to say, I'm not in any rush. Just glad to be here. I'm feeling so much better. I was actually just feeling physically ill today from just grief and sadness for some reason. This has been a tough, tough year, to say the least. But the best analogy I can think of is childbirth, and I think I know. Well, I've never gone through that. I know enough about it from my mother being a labor delivery room nurse that it is not something that is for the weak of heart. And I think we're going through a birthing of ourselves into this new age, and it is painful at times. So be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, take your time. There is no rush. With love and support of each other, we will get through this. We will get through this. So thank you for being here with me today. And as we are all here to love and support each other through these very challenging times. So raise your arms in the air. Feel that life force in your body. Embrace it. Feel the life in your fingertips, in your toes, in your hands. It is that life force. It is a divine life force within you that gives you the ability to raise your hands, to hear my voice. It is that spark of life, the divine spark of life within you, the infinite, timeless life force within us that comes together in prayer and meditation to love and support each other through these really, really challenging times in our life. So you can put your hands in your lap. And centering prayer, and that's just a matter of centering around our center. Our center is the heart space. And we empty ourselves. We let go of all of our beliefs and our opinions and our judgments about the world. We surrender our egoic, our minds, our thoughts, our binary thoughts, to allow ourselves to fall more deeply within ourselves to our divine nature. We get still, and we intentionally get still and let go of our beliefs and opinions and thoughts and fears. And we just breathe for a moment. Just allow yourself to focus on your breath. The in breath and the out breath. You might even expand the breath a little bit longer on the up and on the down. Maybe even hold it at the top. When we begin to focus on the breath, it gives us a sense of we have some control over our lives. Because the truth is we have no control over our lives. We have no control over our thoughts. We have no control over everything. Life is being living through us. And when we can surrender to that, let go of all of our thoughts and our beliefs and our opinions, and gently fall back into the timeless, infinite, unconditional love that we are. We can sort of recharge the batteries, so to speak. regain some strength and some love and some power. This is where our power is. It's within us. Then that divine spark. Allow yourself to get still and just feel your heart beating as it's pumping blood throughout your body. Just be grateful for the moment. Nothing you have to do, nowhere you have to be. You just have to let go, surrender, and be still. And know that I am the divine. Be still and know that I am God. Not me, Martin Coward, but that I am is the divine spark within us. It connects us to all things. And just let go. Just be still and allow yourself to let go of everything. And fall back into the stillness of unconditional love. And allow the sound of that bell to wake us up, to reset and let go, and follow the vibration deep within our hearts. Allow the sound of the bell to wake us up from our thoughts so we can let them go and fall more deeply into the unconditional love within ourselves. allow the bell to wake us up from our thoughts, and allow us to let them go and gently fall back into the spaciousness of unconditional love. Allow the sound of the bell to wake us up out of our thoughts and narratives, and just let them go and fall back into the wonderful spaciousness of unconditional love. There's our final bell to bring us back into this space. Welcome back. So grateful for that opportunity to connect to the divine. We're always connected to the divine. You can't be not connected to the divine. It's what we are. But the mind can give us the illusion that we're separate. So we come together in prayer and meditation to quiet the mind so that we can become conscious of the truth of who we are. So thank you so much. And thank you, Cousin Catherine, for joining us today. We are all divine. The divine in me, that's what namaste means. The divine in me sees the divine in you. So if you see the divine in me, then you see the divine in yourself. Because you can't see what you don't have. So thank you. And I want to say thank you to my cousin Catherine for coming on today. She's an oncology nurse, and I think it's the first time you've been here. That I know you do, and that's what's wonderful about you. I know it's wonderful, isn't it, to experience the divine? I got to say, I'm feeling so much better. Thank you so much for being here and connecting with me today. I was feeling so vulnerable earlier today, so almost physically sick, and I'm not feeling that way now. I'm feeling the love and the connection that comes through with being in this space together. And these are certainly challenging times for us humans. You know, for what once said, the human in me weeps for what it has lost, while the divine rejoices in the soul, rejoices in what it has found. We are divine. You are divine. The divine in me sees the divine in you. So we wake up the divine. We are divine. We are the divine. And that's exciting. So thank you so much again for joining me today. I just am so grateful to be here. I'll be here through Wednesday, and then I'm going to take some time off again. It's the end of the year. But wow, it is such a wonderful time. And again, I just want to say a special prayer for my good friend Selma Whitebeard, who passed away. I think she was 100. If she wasn't, she was close to it. And all her family. She was truly a remarkable and loving woman, and gifted and spiritual, talented artist. Beautiful, beautiful person. So, thank you for being here today. May love and prosperity prevail. Thank you.